would say journaling is like a most one of the most important aspects of.
All right, so welcome to another one. Welcome.
Because the emotions were so mixed. It was something really hard.
How do you all take care of yourselves to make sure that your mind is in a good place, your body is in a... All right, so welcome to another one. Welcome to the Youth Code with yours truly, Anthony D. And as we know, the Youth Code is about speaking with the millennials and the Gen Zs as we get their perspective, their views, their opinions on various issues and various topics in life. And today, we are looking at parenting in transition, the Gen Z's chapter. Right? We are talking about the Gen Zs as they navigate, right, early parenthood and what that has been looking like for them. We're gonna have two young ladies sharing their experience with us this evening. And just before I bring them in, as we're talking about the Gen Zs as they're being parents, they're young, and sometimes while this will take place during the era while they of themselves, they are growing, they're maturing, there are things that they are now learning even about themselves, and they are now into this journey of actually having to raise a child or raise up children during this period in their lives as well. Now, through some research that I was doing, globally, the UN report says that around 12 million girls, which is it's amazing. When I did this research, it says around 12 million girls, usually between the age of 15 and 19, will give birth each year in the US. They say that in the US, teen birth rates have declined dramatically in recent years, but they say that still over 150,000 births per year are usually to women under the age of 20. Bringing it a little more local into our context, in Trinidad and Tobago, they say that teenage pregnancy rate in 2023 was 36 births per 1,000 girls, right? Usually between the age of 15 and 19, according to the World Bank reports. It says that this rate has remained relatively stable since 2010, and while the overall rate is lower in some other countries, right, within the region, they said that a significant percentage of the women in Trinidad and Tobago experienced their first pregnancy before the age of 20, right? So some of the key statistics in here is saying that the adolescent fertility rate, right, is usually between 36. So it's every 36 young ladies to every 1,000 young ladies between the age of 15 and 19. And this has been the report that was published in 2023, all right? They have said, however, in comparison to the rate in 2023, this was higher than the average rate for Trinidad and Tobago within the income group. And they say that early pregnancy, there's a study that within 3 health centers, that 53% of the women reported their first pregnancies occurred before the age of 20, with the youngest reported age being the age of 13. So what we're looking at here is that these are just some statistics that they would have pulled together, making reference to young women and the experiences that they would have had when it comes to giving birth and becoming parents. And they're saying that there has been recorded usually that young women before the age of 20 tend to usually have their first child, right? Now, in our conversation today, as we are joined with two Gen Z parents, they will share with us what it is like to step into that responsibility, to build a family, and to grow alongside their children. As I said, they're in that era, right, where they're also learning things about themselves as well. So it's almost like a kind of dual experience that they're having, right? So I want to introduce the two young ladies I have with us, or I should say we have with us this evening. We have Miss Felicia Brown Ragunanang, and we also have Miss Abigail Mansing. Welcome, ladies. Welcome. So glad to have you all on with me this evening. Yeah. So let me invite first. I will ask Felicia, just to share a little bit about yourself, and then I'll ask Abigail just to share a little something about herself. Yeah.
Hi, good night, everyone. My name is Felicia Brown Ragunanan. I'm a Seattle mom of 3 beautiful kids. I'm also a small business owner of online services. And we're just here tonight to share Gen Z experiences.
Hi, good night. My name is Abigail Mansing. It's a pleasure to be on the show tonight, especially to speak about this wonderful topic. I have 2 kids, and I wouldn't say that I have a full business of my own as yet. I'm starting really small, but eventually it will be out there soon.
Nice, nice. All right, ladies. Well, I'm so glad to have you all on with me. Um, I train this question. Usually, this question tends to come a little lower down, but I train it early. I'll start with Abigail with this one. If you could give yourself, and I know you're young, right? I know you ladies are young ladies, so I guess I just letting you go a little early in your life, a little earlier in your life. But if you could give your younger self, let's say your 14, 15-year-old self, um, one open and very honest statement and advice about being a parent, what would it be, Abigail? Now, open and honest
My
advice.
14 or 15-year-old self,
Yeah.
what advice I'll give to myself? I'm not sure how I'll speak to myself now. Okay, so the advice I might give to myself is to continue doing the best that you can.
Right.
Different times that we live in calls for different measures, circumstances as well calls for different things. So just always do the best that you can and always push forward no matter what hardships may come your way. Just continue to push forward and trusting that you will succeed in whatever you want to accomplish.
Right, nice. Thank you. What about you, Felicia?
Well, I could say based on my experience, I became a teenage mom, so I really can't give much advice, but I would say put your education first as a young woman. Life out here is not everything that you think it ought to be. Also put God first, most importantly. And being a parent may not look as glamorous as you see it on Instagram, Facebook, no. But it is a task. It is something that it comes with a handbook, but the handbook is never right. So what I would say is, if you want to be a parent, you should start prepping from now, thinking of the decisions and stuff like that. And it's not an easy road. It's a really tough road.
Right. I'm saying that from the standpoint, thanks, because even you're still relatively young, right? But to be able to have experiences where you can share, for persons that are within that age, 14, 15, 16 years, and because of what the statistic that I just read, there are young ladies who probably may find themselves having that responsibility early in life. And don't take it for granted that the experiences that you all have won't benefit, or can't benefit somebody else, so I'm really grateful for you all being willing to share that, and to see what it is you all just said. Is there anything that you as an individual wanted to accomplish probably before you became a parent?
Yes, I would have liked to be a little more financially stable or more career oriented. Have everything in order before I become a parent, because as I said, I become a parent at a very young age, 16. So it was tough on me. So I would have liked to fulfill my goals before going down that road.
Okay. What would you say, Felicia, would have been like maybe the hardest or maybe scariest experience that you would have had, in becoming a parent? Or even during this period of being a parent?
Well, in becoming a parent during the pregnancy and stuff, I was forced to write. Well, I was on the verge of dropping out of school. So writing CXC during pregnancy was one of my toughest times. Instead of focusing on my health, I had to focus on studying hard, whereas I wasn't able to enjoy parenthood or anything like that. So that was like the toughest time of my life, like that.
Okay. What about you, Abigail? What would you say that in terms of anything that you would have wanted to accomplish before becoming a parent? I know if you did, but along with that, what probably might have been your hardest or maybe scariest experience?
So I would have wanted to probably further my education more, but based on circumstances and financial problems at home, it was really hard to accomplish and do those things. As well as I would have liked to have my own home before having my kids, other than being amongst sharing a home with other families. I would have really liked to have my personal home. So that is what I would have liked to accomplish before having kids. Based on problems throughout that time, well, I would say the hardest time for me would have been, well, growing up without electricity. A lot of people did not know that. So
Right.
throughout my high school years, I did not have electricity, but I tried my best to always focus and aim higher because I didn't want to remain at one level only and say,
Right.
okay, I didn't have these things to help me go forward. I was going to let that hold me back. So I
Right.
always tried to push forward. I actually studied under street light,
Wow.
but I didn't make those things a problem. So it was
Yeah.
really tough growing up, but
Yeah.
I tried my best to always push forward. So as a parent now, I try my best to make it happen for my kids. So do the
Right.
best that I can so they wouldn't have to pass those things that I had to pass through.
Yeah. And you know what? You know, the strange thing, Abigail, is that, we those are stories that young people might think that, I mean, like older, like really older person might talk about not having electricity and stuff. And the reason why I'm highlighting that is for two things. One is to show that there are people that are still experiencing certain challenges and stuff in life. But not only that,
Yeah.
but there are people who are still overcoming these challenges. And listen, I am so proud of you two young ladies because I had the privilege of knowing you all throughout your educational journey at Northeastern College. I'm selling out some stuff here, but that's all right. um, but you all have been ladies who have been consistent in terms of excelling, in terms of making sure that you all did your ultimate best. And I mean, there are people who might have had challenges that might not have been to the extent that you all would have, but they give in and they give up. So I'm really, really proud to hear that you are able to, to indicate that despite these type of challenges that you would have had, that you are able to come out on top. And listen, these ladies and them, they triumphed in their class, right? I was talking with Abigail a little bit before we started, and well, I learned that she and Felicia have been friends for 5 years straight throughout. I kind of saw their friendship blossom that good bit in Form 4 and Form 5, but to know that they have been together for all that time, and they definitely has shown what it is to have, people stand with you throughout this journey in life. Let me just ask, how much of a challenge is it when you have children and you're not in that place where you're financially sound, or at least stable to some extent to be able to take care of them? How much of a challenge is that?
Well, at the beginning, with my first two children, it was a huge challenge because in
Yeah.
terms of providing for them, it was hard. The father wouldn't have done what he had to do, and I had to make
Yeah.
ends meet with what little I had. And
Yeah.
in terms of sending them to school and stuff, I had to babysit and do other things and put myself last just in order
Right.
for they to get stuff. But now
Yeah.
I thank God that I'm in a better position where they may not have all that they need,
Yeah.
all that they want, but they have all that they need by the grace of
Right.
God. I'm
Yeah.
really thankful for that. But financially, it has been tough. Sometimes the kids run out of pampers. I had to try and make diapers, stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? So it
Yeah.
was not an easy road.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're collecting hampers from loved ones and stuff because you're not capable of doing it on your own. You need a
Yeah.
village, as I say, you need a village to raise your children. You
Yeah.
know, so my help came from God and others.
Nice. Nice. Well, what about Abigail? For you, what about the emotional that emotional journey in becoming a parent and stuff? What does that look like for you, even up until this time, emotionally?
Um, emotions has been I had a lot of mixed emotions throughout my parenting journey because my first daughter, before I got pregnant with her, I got
Mm-hmm.
really sick and I had to be on certain steroid medication, which would have been
Wow.
harmful to the child. So So I didn't know that I was pregnant and I was on this medication and I could not have stopped that medication. So
Oh,
the start of my journey was kind of frightful
okay.
because the doctors said that, it could have problems, complications with the child. But, I prayed, I put God first, everything worked
Yeah.
out. And with everything working out and giving birth normal, everything went well. My
Nice.
daughter collarbone broke as a
Ooh.
baby. So at 13 days, I found out that her collarbone was broken. She was crying. It was really hard as a parent to pass through that time because every night your child will just be crying. You can't get to sleep. My husband and I will have to take turns to, get a little rest, and we will walk this child or try to get at ease until we found
Yeah.
out what was really the problem. So
Oh my goodness.
throughout the start of pregnancy and giving birth to my first child, and to have to pass through something like that, it was
Hmm.
really hard. And a lot of people don't believe in postpartum depression. Some people feel like it's just a myth, but I
Yeah.
experienced postpartum depression with my first daughter, and it
Yeah.
was something really tough to pass through because the
Mm-hmm.
emotions were so mixed. It was something really hard.
Yeah.
So, as you explain to people about your feelings and they comfort you, or they help make you feel more at ease, or help you feel a little better about yourself and be there for you. Well, then
Yeah.
it changes things and makes things a bit easier as you get that
Right.
help, that love, and that support. So my
Right.
emotions, it was really mixed, yeah, throughout my whole parenting time.
Yeah. And what would you say is the significant? Because you alluded to the fact of having people around that could support and help you in that kind of scenario. How important do you think that is for anybody? Becoming a parent.
It
How important do you say that is?
Yeah, it really is because, um, especially with a parent, well, a mother having their first child, it is
Yeah.
something really tough. And, no one really knows inside what you're facing, what you're passing through, how you feel. Plenty times
Mm-hmm.
people may come and they say, how the baby? We come to see the baby. Not
Yeah.
realizing and acknowledging the fact that, you should ask how the mom is feeling, how the mom is doing.
Yeah.
So, when it is people come and they don't only ask about the child, but they ask about your well-being. It feels
Mm-hmm.
so good to have that love, to know that someone cares, and you
Yeah.
see that people showing that. So it really is important. It is
Yeah.
something very important that you have loved ones, people to come and show that support and can help you, especially because being a
Mm-hmm.
parent is not an easy thing. People might
Yeah.
come during the day and visit you and your child, but what about the night when it is, you're not getting the sleep? That will be the better
Yes.
time,
Yes.
that,
Yes.
you might feel like, okay,
Yeah.
come and visit in the night now, so it really is a big thing, to
Yeah.
have that love and that support as a
Mm-hmm.
parent. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I'm asking in terms of you establishing yourself as an adult, because you'd have moved from that adolescent stage into becoming an adult, but then also becoming a parent. And you'll have maybe family members, persons around you, like, hey, I know Abigail, this teenager, this girl that's come out from school, this individual who is young. But now you are establishing yourself, or you have to establish yourself more or less as an adult and a parent. How has that been for you in terms of how has people been responding to you? Not just simply at the fact that you became an adult, but that you also became a parent as well. How has it been the response from persons in respect of that?
Okay, so every day is still a learning process. Um, every day is still learning new things of, becoming a parent. You're acknowledging things more now as, okay, wow, I'm a parent. I have these
Yeah.
more new responsibilities. I have all these things that I have to do as a parent.
Yeah.
Sometimes, okay, people might still see me as a child. Plenty
Mm-hmm.
people that know me, they might be like, wow, you're so young. Why did you marry so young? You have kids so young. They might not realize, okay, I'm growing.
Yeah.
It's obvious one day I will reach at this point. Although it
Yeah.
happened early, right? It would have become a time where I would reach that point where I will
Yeah.
be married, have kids, and I have to learn these things. But
Yeah.
there's never, you can't say that you're young and you can't now learn about being parent or anything like that. You're in that situation already. You're in that position. You just have to
Yeah.
move forward with it, embrace it, acknowledge it, and learn more as the day goes by.
Yeah. How do you young ladies take care of yourselves in terms of your mental, physical, emotional health? Are there things that you all do to make sure that you all are well? Is there anything that you specifically have in place, or is it something that you're now learning?
Can
Anybody
you
could
repeat
take
that
it.
question?
Yeah, the question is how do you all take care of yourselves emotionally, physically, mentally? Because as I said, with some of the challenges that does come with being a parent and a young parent at in this case, how do you all take care of yourselves to make sure that your mind is in a good place, your body is in a good place, your emotion, your spirit and all is in a good place? Is there anything that you all do or have been doing to make sure that you are generally well?
Sometimes, what I might do,
Well,
nobody is saying that being a parent is easy. It is something that is very frustrating at times.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you keep everything bundled up, it makes things worse. So
Right.
me and Felicia has been friends for so long.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might reach out to her. I might speak to her, one parent or another. I might tell her the problem, the situation. And as we have experienced different things in our parenting, she might give me advice, as well as sometimes with her, I might give her an advice that will
Right.
assist her or to help her. And having someone to reach out to, right, to relate to and tell them sometimes the problem or the situation, it helps with all of that stress. It helps you with your physical, your thinking. It helps with everything. As
Yeah.
well as sometimes, I experienced a point in time where it was really hard for me. Kids were giving trouble. I was
Yeah.
feeling like, this point where it was so frustrating. And I just left and I went to church. So
Right. Okay.
I told the dad, okay, you watch the kids. I'm going to church. I need some
Yeah.
me time. I'm going to take some time, not just for myself, but with the
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
took
Yeah.
that time and it was relaxing. It helped
Yeah.
me, right? Not to just focus on the problem and the situation at home, just have it bundling. I took
Yeah.
that time, I went, and your mind become relaxed. And it is really good to reach out to people sometimes because
Yeah.
nobody really knows what you're going through. And sometimes
Yeah.
a personal experience, they can help you to pass through and get over that 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 little problem that you may be facing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for
I
me,
hear
that
you.
is what I might do. Sometimes I might reach out to one of my oldest family member or someone like that
Yeah.
have a lot of experience, and they might help me and tell me what to do to get through that. So that is what I usually do.
Okay. What about you? What about you, Felicia?
Right. So yeah, so as Abby had mentioned, Abigail has mentioned that, she will usually run to church, she will, take time off with God. I am also that type of person. As me and her, we are both spiritually intact. Jesus is our everything. So
Yeah.
what I will do, I will usually, sit, I will journal, because sometimes, I may talk to Abby about my problems, and there's just some things that, you can't tell everybody. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say journaling is like one of the most important aspects of parenting, because running to, this one, that one, everyone may not always give you good advice.
Yeah.
So when you have somewhere where you could let out your thoughts while praying, while meditating on God's word, that for
Yeah.
me has emotionally and mentally helped me. In terms of physical, well, I have 3 kids, so being on the move right through has been my thing. So
Right.
there's no sitting down. There's just go, mommy, go. I need to play. Mommy, let's do this. Mommy, let's do that. So
Yeah.
physically, yeah. So I need to be on the go right through. There's no
Okay.
resting.
So apart from Abigail, as you shared, right? Apart from Abigail, is there anybody else that you have like that is around you that you lean on for support in any form or fashion?
Yeah, I do have my husband. Well, he's like my
Right.
second best friend. I speak to him all
Nice.
the time.
Nice. Yeah.
He may not give spiritual advice as Abby would, but yeah, he gives good advice, as well as my mother-in-law and me. We are good we are really, really good. We close, as well as
Okay.
my mom. So yes, I do have a village around me, you can say.
Yeah. No, because the reason why I asked that because I remembered that it was really helpful when you had people around you that either would have made the experience before or probably in the journey with you as well and kind of understand what it is to have to be dealing with children. Because when you have let's say friends and family around who don't know what it is to have kids, they're freelancing, they don't have that responsibility, they don't understand what it is when you say you're tired, right?
Yeah.
And you're frustrated because you have to be dealing with this child or these children consistently. There is no rest when you're a parent, really and truly, and hence the reason why I asked about the taking care of yourselves, because I had to learn, and my wife as well, we had to learn very early that it's important to have those little moments where you do something to keep yourself healthy. Because if you crash, you can't do what you need to do. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So hence the reason why I asked about, having people around. And it's good to know that even, you all being friends, you all could, bounce support and assistance from each other, but also having persons outside that could look in, or person that you could depend on them and say, hey, I need to do this for me, or hey, that's what's the kids for me for, a half hour, a half day. Those things
Yeah.
really do help, because that little mental break is really, really something good, and sometimes it's necessary. Not just good, but sometimes it's necessary.
Yes,
Thanks so much for being a part of it. Thank you all so much for being willing to come and share your experience, and even share the advice that you through the experience that you all would have had. And I'm very certain there are people that are going to glean off of what it is you all would have shared. Yeah. So thanks so much.
Thanks. Thanks
You're welcome.
for giving us this opportunity to share our experience and give advice to the younger generation that may be passing through something like young parenthood.
Yeah. I know the journey is not an easy one, but you all will continue to champion the cause